Ever find yourself thinking about, what's the big deal with those membership cards we all carry around?
Hmm.
I'm talking like your go-to coffee shop, that professional group you're part of, even museums. It's interesting, right? They're more than just a piece of plastic or a digital thingamajig these
Right.
days.
Right.
They actually say a lot about how organizations try to build a community
Hmm?
vibe. So today we're doing a deep dive into this guide specifically for associations, nonprofits, all about that, the power of the often overlooked membership card.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is it ties into this basic human thing. We want to belong.
Total.
We might not always think about it consciously, but these cards, they represent being part of something bigger, you know?
It's like a secret handshake almost, right? You're in the club. And this guide we're looking at, it says that feeling's pretty common. Get this, a whole 85% of members said they felt more connected to an organization just by having a membership card.
Crazy, right?
85%. Wow, it's a big number. Really shows how much that sense of belonging matters.
Right.
Think about it, when we feel like we're part of something, we're more likely to participate, stay engaged, maybe even become ambassadors,
It's not just about a discount or early access or whatever. It's deeper than that.
Exactly.
It's about creating a community. And that brings up a whole other debate,
Yeah.
the clash of the titans, I guess you could say, physical cards versus digital.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, the guide does a nice job of laying out the pros and cons of both, which is really helpful because
Yeah.
it's such a tough choice.
It's like, do you want that classic, well-made card you can hold? Or do you want the convenience, the flexibility of digital?
Uh,
Tough call.
there really is something about holding a well-designed physical card, like feeling the texture, seeing your name. It
Mm.
makes it feel official.
Right. It's real.
But then again, having all your membership stuff right there on your phone, easy to track, always with you, that's super appealing too.
Oh, for sure, especially in our busy, busy world.
Yeah.
So I think this is where organizations really have to think about their audience.
Yeah,
Who are they talking to? What are they hoping to achieve?
exactly.
Are they dealing with a tech-savvy group?
Right, right.
Or are their members more, traditional,
Mm-hmm.
wanting those tangible reminders?
Yeah.
The guide makes it clear. The best approach really depends on who you're trying to reach.
Yeah. Finding that sweet spot between old school and cutting edge. But here's the thing. Whether it's a physical card in your wallet or some digital badge on your phone, design matters. Big time.
Oh, absolutely. The guide is very clear about that. Clear branding, so it's
Yeah.
instantly recognizable, easy to read info, because what's the point of a card if you can't even tell what it's for?
Right, come on.
Right.
It has to look good, but it also has to be functional. And speaking of functional durability, especially for the physical cards, no one wants a flimsy card that falls apart immediately.
Oh, yeah. And the guide actually goes into this whole world of security features, which is surprisingly fascinating.
Intense, right?
Like holograms, microprinting.
Whoa.
Not only does it prevent counterfeiting, but it adds this kind of special, exclusive feel.
It's like a little piece of art with a secret message. But for those of us who aren't, designing for spies or something, the guide talks about design tools too, which is helpful.
Right.
So they mention Canva, Microsoft Word, Adobe Express. Good starting points, especially if you're not a design pro.
Right. User-friendly.
But then this is what I find interesting. They don't shy away from mentioning some of the lesser known but really powerful tools out there.
Oh, yeah. There are some hidden gems.
Like Visme, Snappa, Playseat, Design Wizard. They've got all sorts of features specifically for card design, so it's great that they're giving people options.
It's about giving you the power to find what works best.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's budget, your skill level, there's something out there for everyone.
Yeah, and it's amazing how the right tools can really help people be more creative, even if you don't think you're a designer. But it all comes back to that feeling of connection we talked about.
Right.
The design choices you make, like using a clean layout or maybe going bold with the colors, it all adds to that sense of belonging the card's supposed to represent.
It's like choosing the right words, but visually.
Right.
Right. And speaking of connections, I thought it was really interesting how the guide got into the whole digital side of things.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying how digital cards, besides being convenient and all, can actually give organizations a ton of data,
Mm-hmm.
which I hadn't really considered.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's where things get really strategic.
Imagine being able to see how members actually use their digital cards.
Mm.
What benefits are they checking out? What events are they RSVPing to?
Oh, wow.
Are they using it to join online discussions, that kind of thing? It's powerful stuff.
It's like a direct line to what members are thinking, almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that data, if it's used ethically, obviously,
Hmm.
can be so valuable. Organizations can use it to make their offerings better, personalize things, make the whole membership experience better.
It's not just guessing anymore. You actually know what your members want.
Exactly. Data-driven decisions.
But then, of course, there's the responsibility that comes with all that data, right?
Absolutely. 100%. That's why the guide talks about the ethical side of things too, which I appreciate.
Yeah, good point.
Transparency is key.
Right.
Members need to know what's being collected, how it's being used, the whole 9 yards. It's about trust. You can't build a community without it.
Absolutely. It's finding that balance.
Hmm.
You want to use data to make things better, but not at the expense of someone's privacy. Speaking of cool techie stuff, the guide also mentioned using NFC technology in cards, which, I don't know, that sounds pretty futuristic to me.
Right. NFC is exciting. We're not just talking about a digital card on your phone anymore. We're talking about a card that interacts with, like, the real world.
So it's more than just like tapping to pay for your coffee.
Way more. Think bigger. Imagine going to a conference and you just tap your card to register, to get special content, even to connect with other people there.
Oh, wow.
Or you're at a museum and you tap your card to get personalized recommendations based on your membership level or what you're interested in. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
So the card goes from being this passive thing to an actual tool. That's amazing.
Exactly. And as technology gets even more advanced, who knows what we'll be able to do. We could see cards become even more personalized, interactive, totally woven into our everyday lives. Pretty wild, right?
It's wild to think we've gone from those like simple paper cards to, wow, these high-tech things that can do so much. But I think no matter how advanced they get, they always come back to that human need to connect.
That's such an important point. And the guide, they really emphasize that. The design, the technology, all that's important. But it's the why that really matters in the end. Why are people joining organizations? Why do they want to be members in the first place?
It's about being part of a group that gets you.
Shares your values, right?
Yeah.
Your interests, your passions, all of that. Like you said, it's about belonging to something bigger.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole conversation so fascinating, you know? A membership card, whether it's a fancy metal thing or a QR code on your phone, it's really just a symbol, right? It represents that connection, that feeling of belonging.
It's like a key, almost. It unlocks the door to this community, these experiences you share. It gives you a sense of purpose, even.
And that's huge. That's something organizations really need to remember. It's not enough to just hand someone a card and call it a day. You have to create an environment where that card means something, where members feel valued, heard, like they're truly part of something. So I guess what we've learned from this deep dive into membership cards is they're more than meets the eye, right? There's a whole human story behind each one.
100%. A story of connection, finding your people, working together towards something bigger.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep those membership cards close and those connections even closer.